What's up, guys? Alpine Gremlin again here with some more World of Tanks. Today we're going to be taking a look at the T34, a premium American heavy tank, Tier 8. We take a look at the tech tree. This will set you back about 12,000 gold. So it's a pretty heavy investment, and why would you spend that much on a premium tank? Well, first of all, because it's a great credit crapper. It absolutely just excels at making money, and it's one of the reasons why it's one of the most popular heavy tanks in the game, premium wise, because it just makes so much money, and that it has a potential to do a lot of damage in a game, which means obviously more damage. More damage equals more XP and credits. So we'll take a look at it. It's an American heavy, so obviously you want to play it hull down. It's basically a T29 with a 120mm strapped on it. In fact, they almost look identical. And actually, all the American heavies and the T30 tank destroyer, they all look pretty much the same. They all use the exact same hull. And in this case, the hull is exactly the same. 102mm of frontal armor, 76mm of side armor, and 51 at the rear. Obviously, that hull is not going to help you, especially when this tank can see Tier 10 battles. Even Tier 7s and 6s have no trouble penning it in most cases, especially if they get around you. So it's on the slower end of the spectrum in terms of its mobility. It's only got 22 degrees of hull traverse with 35 speed limit. Speed limit's, average heavy tank, but it's just it's not very quick on its feet with only 810 horsepower mounted on a 65.74 ton vehicle. The way I have it currently kitted out anyway. Moving on to the turret. Turret's the same as the T29. 279 at the rear, 127 at the side, and 203 actually at the rear. It's actually, if you look at the T29 does not have this extra bit of armor plating at the back, so it gives the T34 an additional 101 millimeters of armor. Still, though, most enemies aren't going to shoot at the side or rear of your turret. They're going to shoot at the hull or rear of your. They're going to shoot at the side of your hull or rear of your hull if they can, because it's the weakest, obviously. So obviously, you want to keep this thing hull down. Additionally, the turret only turns about 18 degrees per second, 360 meter view range, average signal range. So these two factors, the view range and the turret traverse speed, means that you're going to want to kind of sit back at medium range in a hull down position. While your teammates go up and light up targets, because it's just because it's so slow, because the turret is so slow, you're not going to be able to re-engage targets that easily, especially, and if you're trying to attack people, it's not an assault tank. It's a sit back at medium to long range tank and support your enemies that way. Again, you're in a hold down. You want to get in a hold down position, and if you're moving up there with your team, there's a chance that you could get flanked. And with your slow speed and your slow turret traverse, you're not going to be able to re-engage them as quickly. They might be able to get 2 or 3 shots on you in the time it takes you to even get the gun aimed in, which we'll talk about in a second. Because you got to turn the turret, you got to turn the tank, engage them, and then aim. So this tank is a sit back and at relatively medium range is acceptable, especially because at medium range people are going to have some serious trouble at hitting weak points, and their rounds are going to be traveling at slower velocities, so you won't be able to get penetrated as easily. They'll lose some of their power. So let's take a look at the gun. We know how to use it as a longer ranged vehicle. So let's take a look at the gun that it uses. 120mm T53A1. It's basically the T30's 120 that you use when you first get that. When it's one of the first guns you unlock on the TD. Here on the T34, it's got 248mm of penetration, which is pretty damn good for a Tier 8 heavy. You can penetrate Tier 10, 9, and 10 vehicles, which is more than something like the T32 can say, because the T32 has got actually better armor all around than the T34, and is more maneuverable and has a better turret traverse, but the gun lets it down with only 198mm of pen. That is not a problem on the T34. You will be able to penetrate pretty much anything you come across. 0.35 accuracy, 400 average damage, so not bad. Pretty good accuracy. decent average damage, and the thing that'll kill you is the aim time. 3.4 seconds. That is a long time to aim your gun. That's longer than the Foch 155 tanks to aim. It's a 155 millimeter gun, to put that into perspective. And because you only fire 4 rounds per minute, which is about approximately a 12-second reload, you really can't afford to be not aiming these shots, because yes, because in some cases the shot will go where you aim it, but generally you want to be aiming your shots. You want to take the time, because you're not going to be able to make those shots if you just rush it. And this is where staying at medium to long range comes into effect, because you have the luxury of aiming your shots, which is what you're going to see in the gameplay that I have lined up. So what do you want to mount on it? I have a large caliber tank gun rammer and an enhanced gun laying drive, because the aim and reload speeds are so slow. You want to do whatever you can to improve them. With a toolbox, just because it's a heavy tank, you want to get a little extra repair speed up. General average pub match loadout, 24 AP, no premium. I don't really need it, especially on this tank. 10 rounds of HE with a small repair kit, first aid kit, and an extinguisher, manual fire extinguisher. In terms of crew, it's an American heavy premium, so you're going to want to use it to train up your heavy crews. Right now I stick my M103's crew in there, and one crew member from the T34 left over. I stick them in there. Their crew skills have the general heavy tank crew skills, repairs, and brothers in arms. Those are the 2 big ones. You want to make those your priority on your heavy crews. Not just on the T34, and any heavy that should be the priority, with maybe the exception of the French tanks, but can't hurt on them either. So anyway, I've talked enough about this in the garage. Let's take it out for a spin and see how it performs on the battlefield. Alright, so here we are in Redshire. Now, Redshire is in general one of those maps that likes to encourage a lot of camping on the part of both teams. But this match actually was one of the more fluid matches, just because my team was pretty good. They were willing to push, and they were willing to take advantages and take some risks, which was ultimately necessary. And this map, with all the hills and undulations and ridge lines, is very favorable to the T34, especially in a good matchup like this, where towards the top of the list, we're only one of 5 tier 8s per team. So definitely some good opportunities to do a lot of damage here, and nice long lines of sight. So this is a very favorable environment for the T34 to get hull down and just dish out some long range punishment. Also on the part of some very good willing scouts, willing to light up targets for us. So you can see the T34's speed. It's decent at climbing hills. Getting outrun by a KV5 though, so that's something you want to pay attention to. The speed is definitely one of those things. Now, here's the first target. A Pershing has made himself spotted on the ridgeline. So I take a shot. I'm far enough away to where I can just kind of sit here and take shots without being spotted. So I'm kind of leaning him, and he stops and misses. I don't know where that shell goes. Goes completely wide and just does not connect with the target. So I'm gonna. All right. Well, I don't want to leave that KV5 out to dry. So I'm gonna keep pushing up with him. I'm gonna keep an eye on the area around the hill for 3 and 4 lines, just in case any targets make themselves spotted. I can get some good fire on them. Here's a Hellcat. Here comes now you're gonna see the good alpha damage of this gun. Gonna put one right into that poor Hellcat, and then there goes 489 of his 570 HP, and the rest of his 81 hit points gets taken by the other Hellcat on our team. So when you're in a lower tier vehicle, getting hurt by this thing really hurts when you get damaged. So do your best to try and stay out of their line of fire. So you can see the Pershing's back up on the hill, but he stopped. So big mistake, not moving in your medium. Don't want to do that, because this will happen and you'll lose all of your health. So a good solid hit into that Pershing. 422 damage. Now the Stuart's going to get tracked. And 321 HP left. That's well within my average damage roll. So we're going to finish him off. So that's our first kill. AT-15 on the hill. No shots. No good shots on him yet. But I will... I take a blind shot here. Why not? Might get lucky. But I will have my chance to battle with him a little bit later. But for now, let's keep advancing. We want to support that KV-5 over there on the corner. Because we don't know, there might be a lot more enemies coming. So I want to get over there and provide an additional gun to help them. Now here comes a good position. I like this position on really in any of my tanks. It's just it's a good stable position to where tanks without gun depression can get hull down, and tanks with gun depression can get endefilade like I am here. So I'm set that KV-1S on fire. And there goes 528 of his HP. He uses it right at the last second. One more fire, damage to fire, probably would have killed him. But I'm not sure how much of his tank is left. I take a blind shot. Who knows? Might get lucky. Nothing. I'm just sitting here, keeping relatively hull down. Don't want to expose my side armor to him. Just want to keep in this position. IS-6 is moving in. So is the KV-5. Get a little bit braver here. That T34 can still damage me, but luckily he takes a shot at the KV-5 instead of me. That was a little bit of bad play on my part, even though I got lucky. The IS-2 is there. I could take the shot, but I'm waiting for for him to move out of the way because I wanted to take out the T34 instead, who is the higher tiered enemy tank that is well within my alpha damage to kill. So now he's out of the picture. They're going to push the IS-2. Now, instead of pushing up with these tanks, the KV-5 and the IS-6 are all pretty good at assaulting head-on. T-34, again, as you can see how I've been playing on this ridgeline, I've been sitting back and I've been providing supporting fire for my teammates who have been spotting the targets. I'm not really suited to go over here, because again, I would be exposing my weaker hull armor, and I don't want to do that. I also be taking fire from the hill. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use I'm going to get up on this hill here, and I'm going to be able to provide hull down cover fire at the enemies, at any enemies over here, at any enemies on the hill as well, and any enemies in this area here. So I have the ability to support 3 separate areas of the map from a advantageous hull down location. So I'm going to go over there. We'll just speed this up a little bit. Till I can get up into onto the hill and get into a much better hull down position. So here's the enemy's been spotted. AT-15, M26 Pershing, and their 5100. A lot of their high tier tanks are on this hill. So I'm going to get into a position to open fire. Now, note, when I come over this hill, I have to be careful about exposing the side of my turret to the AMX 5100, and God knows what else is on that hill. There might be that AT-7 there. So I want to be careful. I don't want to show him my side. So I don't want to peek too far out. I want to just get enough out there so I can take shots on this AT-15. So I'm going to get on a good shot onto his side. Then I duck back into cover. Now see, I take a bounce off my mantlet. That's what I wanted to avoid, but I got a little bit too greedy there. And I got a little bit unlucky. Now I'm going to take 2 hits from this AT-15 because again, I'm exposing my side armor here. And you can see there's really no indicator for penetration. That's because he hit me more or less behind my road wheels there. But I'm not showing him my turret. I'm giving him my side, which he can easily penetrate. So we go out. You can see I take another hit from him, but I put a shot right into his lower plate because the good penetration on this gun does allow me to get through the AT-15's armor. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to peek out over the ridge again. See, I take another hit. That shot went right. That's for the AT-15. You can see I gave him my lower plate and my upper plate, which are both easily penetrated by these tanks. So I'm getting a little bit too greedy here, so I want to rethink my plan of attack. So I'm hull down now. You can see he's putting shots into the ground. Now I've got plenty of opportunities to just bully him without him being able to really do anything to me in return. See there? I see him aiming. Back down a little bit on the hill. He takes a bad shot at the ground, so I put another one into him. And he gets taken out by the IS-6. So only 3 enemies left, the SU-100Y and the Object 416. The Object 416 disappears. Like I see, I don't know where that shot went. If I had just waited another half second, I might have made the shot because the gun was not fully aimed in. So you got to remember that. You want to take your time with this tank in most cases. You can clutch some shots, but it's not going to happen all the time, as it was that case. The gun RNG just decided I wasn't going to hit him. But I see the IS-6 going there, so I decided, alright, I'll wait for him to get spotted again. And that really took a chunk out of him for 340 HP. So I'm trying to get a little bit more damage in. AT-7, their Tier 7 tank destroyer, is the last one left. So there really isn't much, we pretty much got this one in the bag. We know that he's around the base, so I'm just gonna move up, see if I can't get a little bit extra damage. So I'm peeking up over the ridgeline. There's a rock in my way. And I think Fortune was just going to say, you know what, dude, you've done enough to other tanks. You're not going to get any damage here. RNG throws the shell wide, and I just track him. And before I'm reloaded, and here's where the reload sucks, because before I'm reloaded, he gets behind the rock, and the enemies kill him. And there he goes, and as I reload, he dies. So there you go. There's the game. So anyway, that's that gameplay example. Now keep in mind that I was top tier, but you generally want to play the same way in tier 10. Because you're easily penetrated by tier 8s, you just want to stay at medium to long range and support in this tank. You want to use your hold down position to bully enemies at long distances. You have the penetration to do a lot of damage to enemy tanks, and even against tier 10s this works. You just want to be careful, because you don't want to be up in anyone's face in this thing. It's just not that kind of a tank. It's not an assault tank. It's a long distance supporting vehicle. So just remember that, and you guys should have some success in this game. Should make some good money. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this gameplay. Now let's take a look at some post-game stats. Alright, so here's the after-action report. You can see we got the second most experience on our team with 1,041 experience. Now, I forgot to get the actual personal score where I can show the credits, but I definitely got an excess without a premium account of 60,000 credits this match, as I remember. You can see we did 4,791 damage, pretty good, kind of to be expected for a top-tier heavy. Our team really didn't do too much better. There's really no one else on the team that did that much damage. The IS did a pretty good job. 2,329 in a tier 8 battle. Good play. You can see we took out 2 enemies, and we got the Confederate medal. 17 shots fired, 14 direct hits, 13 penetrations. We received 4 hits. 3 of those which penetrated, 1 of them which bounced off of our turret. We should have been a little bit more cautious on that ridge line in the middle. I think we gave ourselves a little bit too much to that AT-15 and again to the AMX 5100. Took a little bit of unnecessary damage there. We could have just bullied them without having to do that, but we got a little bit greedy. So just remember that. Keep an eye out for that. You want to make sure your priority should be survival, and you want that. So you want to be careful. You want to do damage, but you don't want to throw your entire tank away to do some damage. That's the thing, You find that you can maximize your score if you just focus on keeping yourself safe when in combat. Obviously, you don't want to hide out in the back of the base, because that's not helping your team, but you want to help your team without getting fired at too much or putting yourself in a good position and not leaving it. That's what I mean. We got a 1,010 potential damage received. We didn't really receive that many hits, so this didn't really showcase the armor too well, but either way, pretty good. We didn't do much damage on spotting because we were the ones being spotted for. So, yeah. Damaged 9 enemies, destroyed 2 of them. And 1.78 kilometers traveled. So, pretty good game. Anyway, guys, if you guys are thinking about picking up a T34, hopefully this video helped you guys identify your playstyle, that you had the way you want to use this tank. I hope I helped you guys out, and I hope you enjoyed. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.